I'm so grateful that I'm able to work for myself, but not everything about it is amazing. And I've especially been feeling that way over these past couple of days. Most of these things are self-inflicted, but I want to talk about the 10 worst things about working for yourself, because I think sometimes it's glorified. Not that I necessarily think that that's wrong, but over these past couple of days, my reality has more been on the bad side of things. So I just wanted to talk through those in case you're still working a 9 to 5 and you want to quit your job. I want to give you just some insight into what that might look like. Not to dissuade you from doing it at all. I would not go back to working a 9 to 5. More so just to help set your expectations. And we're not going to talk about the fact that I microwave my coffee. I'm a desperate man, as you'll see from these 10 things. The first thing that frustrates me is just my abysmal time management. Today's Tuesday, the same day that you're going to be watching this video if you see it when it's first posted. And I had a full work day yesterday where I honestly don't feel like I did anything. Maybe like 20 minutes of managing my Amazon business. And that's it. Now that kind of feels cool, but I really need to clean my whole house. And I was planning on doing that so I could film 3 videos yesterday. I had all of that pretty much ready to go, and just procrastination got the better of me. Now, one of the beautiful things about working for yourself is that you can work a lot of hours and have it be fun. Because hopefully you're doing something that you enjoy or are passionate about, or created a business like I did through reselling that allows you to work on something that you're more passionate about, which for me is YouTube and helping people with their money. But the problem with that is that you can work anytime. And working anytime means that I can work into the night some nights and get things done. But it also means that I don't feel the pressure of getting things done sometimes, which is something that we'll get back to in a second. So I'm going to use this to finally clean up this mess. And then we'll get into kind of the opposite of my bad time management, which wouldn't really seem like it makes sense that they go together, but they're 2 sides of the same coin in the way that I work, which might not even affect you because you might be way better at this than me, which is probably the case for a lot of people. The second thing that I've been frustrated about is actually kind of the opposite of bad time management. It's never feeling like I can take a break. Now this just kind of ebbs and flows, which is why I said it's kind of like 2 sides of the same coin with having bad time management, because a part of that means that I don't feel like I can ever take breaks when I am on and working. You just get into modes of either laziness and spending way too much time watching YouTube, either thinking that like, oh, I'm researching in my niche or something, and it's just, I'm just watching YouTube for fun. Or I just get caught up, spend way too much time playing a game on my phone. But especially now, because I'm in the building phase of the business, and there's just always more work to do or something better that I think I can be doing with my time. I'm really bad at taking breaks or even just stopping work. So there'll be some days like yesterday and the first half of today where I won't do anything, and there will be other days and weeks where I will just work for 15, 16, 18-hour days, because I can work from one morning at 8 o'clock to the next morning at 5 o'clock and get a lot of stuff done. But both of those kind of have to do with having bad time management, and they feed into a couple other things that we'll talk about. If you're wondering if I was going to have solutions in this video, not really, because I don't really know how to do it well myself. It feels really nice to have everything pretty much clean. We just won't look at my bedroom. But the third thing that's frustrating, which is related to these, as you can tell, they're all the same color, is that extending hours is really easy when you run your own business. And this kind of encapsulates both sides of the other coin, which is that I suck at creating boundaries. Now, I really hate the word boundaries in general, because I feel like it's really limiting. And I always am like, no, I want to be able to work. There's always something more that I can do, so I don't want to have to set up time where I'm not working, because what if I want to work? Because I really do enjoy what I do. But I feel like this is a little bit of a detriment to myself, but especially because of the next section of things that we're going to get into, I really don't want to not work or feel like I can't work, because that feels a little bit life or death to me. Like, I need to make sure that we're making enough money so that we can survive, and that way I can provide for my family and we can do the things that we want. And I realize I never explained this, but if you're new to the channel, I run this YouTube channel, which is the main business that I quit my job to create, but I was able to quit my job by having a reselling business, mostly on Amazon through FBA. And so those are the main businesses that I'm talking about when I'm talking through all of these items. But I really feel like not being able to create boundaries is pretty detrimental to my success in business, because I don't have set times. And we as people are really good at doing work in an allotted time period. If you've ever noticed that you set yourself a deadline of like 1 or 2 hours to get something done, you're normally gonna get it done. And so when I'm really bad at creating boundaries because I feel like they're constricting, oftentimes that just means that I take forever to get something done that can be done really quickly, or I don't do it at all, or I get a ton of stuff done really fast and I don't actually live my life by spending some intimate time with Carissa or doing hobbies. Like, I don't know the last time that I've done a hobby, except for maybe building out our van, but that still seems like work. Now, one reason that this might not be something that you struggle with is either you're just better at it, but I think a lot of this comes down to the fact that I've struggled with depression and some mental health stuff. Going to counseling has helped me even just realize this fact, just like the fact that some stuff in my childhood brought up the reason why I feel like making money and having our finances be in order is life or death to me. That's an aside for a different time. Speaking of things that counseling can help to fix, is it's so easy to fall into comparison. Or another way I think about this is imposter syndrome. Now, a lot of this is because of the business that I do, which is running a YouTube channel, which there are so many other YouTube channels to compare myself against. And because it's so metrics based, I can really see whether I'm doing well compared to another channel that I might look up to. And I definitely did this when I worked at other jobs, because there's always metrics that you can check yourself against. But because I'm working for myself and not for a company, it feels a little bit more high stakes. And especially because my YouTube channel is just me, Anthony Bodanza, it's way easier than it should be to make that a part of my identity of how I see myself, which is just not a healthy way to live. And that's something I'm trying to work through. Also, please don't come at me for how I season my cast iron. I know I'm not good. The fifth thing that I struggle with when running my own business is new stresses. Now, initially, I was dumb and just wrote down that it was stressful, but working at a job is stressful too. So a couple of new stresses that I have with working for myself is that there's no guaranteed money, which is kind of obvious. You have to make your own income. And so especially because we don't have a lot of a surplus in our owner pay account in our business right now, that's pretty stressful because I need to make sure that we're making enough on a month-to-month basis to not only pay to operate our business, but also to take home money, use it to live our lives. And that's just becoming a little bit more stressful as Chris is leaving her full-time to go part-time so that we can move into a van. But one of the other new stresses is actually the fact that there's no deadline pressure. And that kind of goes back to a couple of the first ones that we talked about. But because there's no deadline pressure externally and it's all on me, and I'm not very good at doing that for myself, setting boundaries, following through on my own deadlines, if I don't see a concrete need to do so, it's a struggle. For instance, if I was my own boss, I would have set deadlines for these videos that are coming out this week for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Obviously, it's Tuesday, and it's like 4 o'clock already on Tuesday, and this video will hopefully be up on Tuesday. But the fact that there was no external deadline for me made it really easy for me to waste yesterday. And it is definitely good to have deadlines and to set those and to work towards those. But it's also good to realize that it's not the end of the world if I don't hit one. It's just frustrating because I didn't use that time to do something better. And so because of that, I can end up wasting time rather than pushing a deadline to do something else that's important to my business. So that just comes back to setting bad boundaries. If you aren't getting it yet, I'm just not great at this stuff. Number 6 is something that I really struggle with and have been getting a little bit better at, but still definitely struggling, and it is the fact that I am always checking analytics. I know that at my job, I would always check my analytics every day. The problem is though, if I was just doing it once a day, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, because at everywhere that I've worked, stats have updated either every day or every week. But I do this way too often. Just open up. So easy, it autofills. I just hit the Y, click on YouTube. Oh, look at that. I can just take 3 more clicks and be in my analytics and see how I'm doing for the day. And that's just kind of an insidious pattern where every single hour, every single minute, I can come back and look and see, oh, how many views do I have this hour? 8 views, 14 last hour, 24. And instead of being productive, I'm just checking my analytics, and it actually does absolutely nothing. I do the same thing. All I have to do is hit S on my keyboard. Boom, I'm already in Seller Central, and I can see my sales for the day. I don't know how many times I've checked it and actually done something beneficial for my business. My guess would be less than 5. Less than 5. And in the spirit of full transparency, during the time that I was time-lapsing all of that cleaning, I probably checked my analytics between YouTube and Seller Central 4 or 5 times. It honestly feels a little compulsive, and I know that a lot of people can probably relate to that. And so for that reason, I honestly don't even have Seller Central or YouTube on my phone, so that if I'm out and about doing stuff, I can't just be checking it all the time, because that would just be the go-to, flip it out and check it. I still struggle with that on the computer, but having instant updates to how you're doing every single day is really detrimental to your success in your business, because checking your analytics or sales metrics almost never does anything for you except for make you sad or maybe a little bit happy. But it's probably 90% to 10% the amount of times that I check my analytics, and it gives me more stress versus the time I check my analytics, and it either makes me happy or makes me want to work in a productive way. So that's definitely something that I'm trying to work on and be better about, because it just so destroys my creative flow or even just my workflow in general. These next 2 are things that when compared with working a 9 to 5, I actually prefer the 9 to 5 than working for myself. The first one is that it's a lot lonelier to work for yourself than it is to work at a 9 to 5, especially if you're just a one-man team like I am. When you're working at a job, you just have an inbuilt social structure right there, and you have to be a lot more intentional about building a network of community when you work for yourself. And if you're an introvert like me, that can be really hard, even though I do need some social connection, but I would rather just be by myself most of the time, so that can be a little bit of a struggle, especially when that's paired with the crippling of feeling like I always need to be working, but also sometimes wasting so much time. But no matter what, I always feel like I have to be available to work, so I can't go pursue any hobbies. Therefore, those hobbies can't be with people because I don't have those hobbies, and so the cycle just perpetuates itself. I wanted to change the angle and I forgot. Oh. Number 8 is that you can't phone it in and still make money. One of the things that I enjoyed the most about working for somebody else is that I got paid an hourly rate. So I always knew that I was going to be making money that day. It didn't really matter the quality of the work that I did. So if I got really little sleep and I had a terrible day, or if I got a lot of sleep and was excited for work and did a lot of work, I got paid the same amount because I didn't really have commission at the jobs that I was working at. But you really can't phone it in and still make money. Whether it's reselling, you have to go and actually do that work, and the stuff will just sit in your house until you do the work of sending it into Amazon. Or when it comes to YouTube, YouTube videos, I can't just make a really crappy video because I need to make sure that the videos are enjoyable to watch, because ultimately me making videos isn't about me, it's about what value I can provide for the people who watch it, like you. But if you do want to help that out, you can always like the video because that does help. But honestly, the great part of this is even though you can't phone it in and still make money, at least initially, and I wrote at least initially down because there are some ways that you can create more passive income. For instance, we'll get to this in a future video, but if we go to the revenue on my videos, there are videos like this one that I made back in March that I just got monetized last month and I made $20 from. So initially you might not be making money while phoning it in, but if you have a business where you can start to generate a little bit of passive income, like a YouTube channel where old videos can still make money, there will hopefully be a day or a week that I don't have to worry about constantly working and I can still make sure that I make a livable income. But it takes a lot of work up front and you definitely can't be phoning it in for that part. But honestly, the best thing about this is the other side of that is I never have to ask anybody for days off. Like yesterday, it sucks, but I wouldn't have been able to do it if I had to go and work at a job. But I also never have to ask for vacation days or time to spend with Carissa. I just honestly have to get better about setting boundaries with those because then I'll be able to enjoy that time more. Didn't need that. The ninth thing is wasting time on things that don't make money. This is one of the more frustrating things about running your own business because it all falls on your shoulders and you feel like you're always going to do stuff right. Maybe not, but you kind of expect that from yourself. At least I do. The problem then becomes the fact that there are going to be things that you do that either make you no money or are by no means worth your time. Speaking of, we're shipping eBay stuff. If you couldn't tell. Frustrating thing is there are going to be good business ventures or business ideas that you have, like eBay. It's a really sustainable business model for a lot of people, but either you don't like it or it doesn't go well for you or you simply don't know how to do it right and it ends up not being as great as it could be. The main example that I have for myself in this is eBay. Wrong size. Because even though I've made money on it and I've been making decent amounts of money, sometimes it's just not worth the time. That's what the key of this is it's the time value of your money, not simply how much you can make, but how much you can make on either an hourly basis or on a basis of how much you enjoy the work. Now, personally, I really enjoy the hunt of finding stuff for eBay, but the listing and the shipping and the customer service is all pain in the butt. And on top of that, the way that I like to run my business is more volume-based, which means that I'm trying to sell more quickly than waiting to have the best profit, especially because with eBay, I don't necessarily care about it as much as I do Amazon. It's kind of more like a side gig in my own business, but all it's done has been a headache, to be completely honest with you. I've definitely made a couple $100, probably $1,000, $2,000 at this point, but that's where understanding what you want from your business comes into play, because I care more about making videos and helping people with their money than I do about making a couple dollars from eBay, especially because eBay has probably taken me, after inventory gets to the house, as much time as Amazon has taken me, and Amazon has made me way more money. So even though I'm able to source eBay around the same times that I'm able to source for Amazon, I'm really phasing out of eBay and trying to get rid of all my dad's stock, even after moving into a van. But unfortunately, that's not the only thing that's wasted my time. Some videos, even like the last one that I posted before this one, which has not done well, feel like a waste of time because they haven't made me as much money as other ones. Even there are some learning experiences that you can take from it. Problem is, there's just gonna be more risk of wasting time, I feel, when you run your own business than when you're working for someone else. Even if you waste time, there's gonna be a whole discipline process before they even fire you, and you're still gonna get paid for the hours that you worked. Ooh. Now this last thing is honestly probably the biggest thing that's frustrating about working for yourself. Just because no matter what you do, as a business owner or somebody who's in charge of stuff, you're gonna struggle with it. And that is knowing which balls to let drop and which ones to keep going in the air. When you're running a business, there might be a lot of things that you'll end up having to juggle, and it's gonna be your job as a business owner to figure out the things that you can let drop and the things that you can't, and I have not been great at this. This is my Amazon business, and this is my YouTube channel, and this is my marriage, and I need to figure out which one of these I wanna let drop, because if I can't keep them all up in the air, because it's getting too hard, then if I just let this drop, it's all right. It's just my Amazon business. Obviously, it's important. It's a big thing. You don't want to let it drop. It's going to definitely make an impact. But if I was to just stay focused on only catching my Amazon business, my YouTube channel, and I just let that drop, I can't just pick that back up. It's done. So figuring out, even just in your business, what things you can let drop, like eBay, and what you can't, like Amazon, because that's what pays me right now, is a really important thing to do. Even outside of your business, the things that you do in life and what you enjoy are also really important, which is why you need to figure out which balls are plastic and which ones are glass, so that you can drop the plastic ones, because you know you can pick them back up if you want to, but you can't drop the glass ones. And especially if you're starting a business from scratch and this is the only way that you're gonna be making money, you're probably gonna have multiple income sources, or at least trying to build multiple income sources. So figuring out which ones of those are gonna work and which ones aren't really quickly is one of the best ways that you can move forward faster in your business. And is honestly one of the reasons why I feel like I'm a little bit behind where I could be, because I haven't dropped some balls that needed to be dropped, like eBay, and I've let drop some balls that I should have kept in the air, like my YouTube channel, over a couple of stretches that I didn't post much. This really isn't meant to discourage anybody from starting their own business, because leaving my 9 to 5 has been one of the best things that I've ever done, but I've honestly just been having a couple bad days, so I wanted to talk about that and share some of the ways that it's not always the best. If you're struggling with the money side of things, watch this video. Otherwise, watch this, and I'll see you on whatever next day I see you. Peace.